This example asks us to find the area and the perimeter of this composite figure without giving any direct measurements, simply having it laid out for us on graph paper. Now the key to that is a matter of counting. When I go to find the area, what I see here are two different shapes. I see that I have a half circle here, I have a trapezoid here. Now you could also just as easily see it as a half circle, a rectangle, and a triangle, and use each of those independently to find the area. We'll get the same answer. When I break this down, let's talk about the area of this half circle here. I can count off the radius in terms of units. 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So pi r squared. So pi times 4 squared. Now be careful not to count the whole diameter. If I count all the way down across here, I'll get 8. That's the diameter. I need half that, or 4, for the radius in order to go into my formula. When I evaluate that out, I'm going to get 16 pi is my exact value for that area. I only need half of it though. I only want a half circle, so that would be 8 pi as my exact value. Now if you're okay with the decimal approximate, you can put that in your calculator, 8 times 3.14, and that gives you an answer on the order 25.13. Really comes down to how accurate you need to be. Next, I need to get the area of this trapezoid here. So I'm going to use the same concept of applying my rules and some counting. The base across the top I can count off as 8 units. The base along the bottom I can count off as 15 units. Divide that by 2, and then multiply that by a height of 8. Separate. Because remember, the area of a trapezoid is the average of the two bases times the height. So 8 plus 15 divided by 2 times the height of 8 will give me the area of this whole trapezoid. I could also go 8 by 8, that's this square, half 8 by 7, that's this triangle over here, and use that to get me the composite area for the whole figure. Now I can run this all through, and I'm going to find myself looking at, let's see here, 8 and 15 puts me at 23, divided by 2, multiply that by 8. Again, answer of 92. Now that's going to be in square units. My last step now is to combine these. I can give an exact answer. The exact answer would be 8 pi plus 92. If you're more the type that likes your decimals, take 25.13, add that to the 92, and that'll give you 117.13 as your final area. And that also works. Always read the direction to see if you should leave your answer in terms of pi or you evaluate it as an approximate value and then round it appropriately. The second half of this problem asks me to find the perimeter. The good news is much of this can be done simply by counting. For example, if I count along the top, I get 8 units. When I count along the bottom, I'm going to get 15 units. So there are 2 measurements done for me already. I need this slant over here, and I need this side over here. Well, this is a half circle, so I can use the idea of circumference to figure that out. Circumference of a circle is 2 pi times the radius. So 2 times pi times a radius of 4 units puts me at 8 pi. But that would be a whole circle. I only want half of it, that curved part. So I take that, I'm going to divide it by 2. And I get 4 pi as that curved part that starts here and ends here. So now I have 3 out of 4 parts figured out. The last part to get is this piece over here. Now because it fits on graph paper, I know this must be a right angle. So what I need to do now is do some counting. I know this height is 8. I know this distance along here is 7. Which means I can now apply the Pythagorean theorem to get my slant. 8 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. When I evaluate that, I'll then have my last side. Run it through the calculator, so 64 plus 49, that's 8 squared plus 7 squared. Then I take the square root of that. I get an answer of 10.63, give or take. It's actually the square root of 113. Now, if you need to give an exact answer, your final answer actually would be square root of 113 plus 4 pi plus 8 and 15 is 23. That's your exact answer. Most of us are probably going to want to turn that into a decimal, make it a little easier to think about. So I can take my 10.63, I add on to that 4 pi, which my calculator can give me an approximate of. Then I add my 23, and I get a final answer of 46.19. Basically, again, part, and this is the combination of the top and the bottom. Add them all up, and that's your perimeter.